What is up, YouTube? That's here, and today I'm bringing you guys an extra special video. I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite Pokemon games, and more specifically, what games in each generations are my favorite. For example, there are generations like Gen 4 that are Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, and most people would kind of just see Platinum as like an extra game. Some see it as like DLC that kind of, has the same storyline somewhat as Diamond and Pearl, but like a little bit of extra content. I'm going to talk about if I think those games are worth the buy, if I actually like those versions, or if I like the originals better. So hopefully you guys enjoy this type of list. Hopefully we have some of the same games in common. If we do, feel free to leave a comment below with what your favorite games are. So, hopefully you guys enjoy this. We're gonna hop right into it. Here we go. Alright, so I'm gonna be starting things off with Generation 1 Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow. I actually really think Yellow is my favorite, but this is the game that started it all for me. I was one of those people that got the game, like, right when it came out. I actually had the strategy guide for Red, like, way before it came out. I don't even know how my mom got it for me, but she knew that I liked the show, and she was at like the store one day and she saw the official like Nintendo strategy guide for Pokemon Red, and so she bought it for me, and I was like, oh my god, this is a game? I can play this? This isn't just a TV show? And I legit like memorized, not like memorized, but like, I looked at that strategy guide so much. It was like a book, I read it like every day until I actually got the game. And so when the game came out, I knew like the base powers on all the moves. I knew like the extra effects. I knew what teams I wanted to catch and make in the game. I knew like everything that I would have actually wanted to know, going, into Generation 1. Like I already had like 5 or 6 playthroughs worth of stuff to like practice and go get. I was like, in this run through I'm gonna use Weezing, in this run through I'm gonna use Rhydon, in this run through I'm gonna use this, and like I was already thinking of like move combinations and stuff like that even before like the games even really came out. And I think that just goes to show like a little bit about like my like play style as a player. Like I always like messing with things and theory crafting, and Generation 1 is always going to be special to me because of that. Alright, so up next, my 4th favorite Pokemon generation is going to be Generation 2. This is Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and I remember playing this as a kid growing up, thinking Gold and Silver was like the best game ever. A whole new generation, a bunch of new Pokemon, and the biggest plot twist at the very end is, once you beat like the Elite Four in your respective Johto region, you get to go and do Kanto all over again. Like, that just blew me away how much content was actually in this game on the Game Boy Color. And let's not forget, like, color. Like, these games, Crystal especially, was in color, and I would really recommend these games to anyone that hasn't played them. And I know they recently got a re-release on the eShop for 3DS, and you guys should definitely pick these things up. They also remade them in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Like, these games are seriously amazing. They have some of the best legendary Pokemon, being Ho-Oh and Lugia, and a lot of the other Pokemon, a lot of Pokemon in general that a lot of people attribute with Pokemon that aren't just necessarily Gen 1 Pokemon, come from this game. Like some of my favorites. Like this game has by far the best bug type Pokemon, and that is my favorite type. It has like Heracross, it has Scizor, it has Fortress, I think. Fortress? Yeah. Fortress is in this game. It has Ariados. Like, this is the generation that I like to classify as, like, the bug generation. And this is probably the game that really got me started on really liking bug-type Pokemon. So, this game is always going to be really cool for me. I also, like I said, the legendaries are so good. Lugia, Ho, some of my favorites, but also Suicune, completely almost forgot about mentioning this, is my favorite legendary Pokemon. It's been a staple in my teams as far as I can remember, and I just love this game. I put so many hours into it. When I was growing up, me and all my friends used to play, and every single week we would have like little tournaments where we fought each other, and this is where I think I really started to get like a little bit of a grasp on what it means to be competitive in Pokemon. Like, just playing with my friends, eventually you could be like, well, yeah, I'm gonna use Fire Blast, or yeah, I'm gonna use this, but when you think about it and you start really mixing in, like, what if I use Confuse around this Pokemon instead of just all-out damaging moves? And that's where you start to, like, develop a metagame and a playstyle, and this is the generation where that happened for me. Moving on to number 3 at my list, we have Pokemon Black and Pokemon White. This is Gen 5. I guess there's also Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. This is the second set of games on the 3DS, and to be honest, I think this is probably the best 2D Pokemon experience that there is. Like, the music in this game is probably actually my favorite. The the graphics, like this is like the epitome of what it means to be like a what is that 2D Pokemon game. Like I don't really actually like the new like Sun and Moon and even like Gen 6. I don't really like those because the graphics are too over exaggerated. Like I think they're trying too hard. I think Pokemon should be a 2D game. And, you know, I just think that the graphics in this game really, really capture the feeling that it means to play Pokemon. And also, like, this game has some of my favorite Pokemon. Like, you saw I just showed Darmanitan. Bro, like, Darmanitan is, like, my jam. I've used Darmanitan legit in, like, every singles team I'm, like, ever won anything in. And ever since Darmanitan came out. Like, Darmanitan, the thing I do when I start a singles team is I put a Choice Scarf Darmanitan in there. And, this game was just amazing. I love everything about it. Like, it just talked about the dream world. I love Haxorus too. Like, oh man, like watching this trailer, like this game was literally amazing. I don't know why I'm putting it so low on my list because I love everything about it. It's just so good. And this was also the first season that I started playing VGC in. Like, this was the season that I watched VGC 2011. I started dabbling with it, and then when 2013 came around, I started actually going to events. And this game is just so underrated. It also has my favorite Uber Pokemon being Reshiram. So, like, oh man, Gen 5 is so good. And I haven't even started to talk about the remakes that are Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. White 2 was actually the one that I had. I didn't play Black, but I actually know there was a little bit of a difference between Black and White 2. I think in White 2, once you beat them, or in both of them, once you beat them, you unlocked like a super mode or something like that. You could go for like, Black 2 had like hard mode, and I think White 2 had easy mode. So I've actually, one day I will play Black 2 on hard mode because I want to try like a Nuzlocke in Pokemon Black. This was also the first game that I started with my friends. We would get together and we would try to pretty much create a Nuzlocke before Nuzlocke were a thing. We would try to make special limiting rules for ourselves and try to beat the game with like really harsh stipulations, like, you know, you can't use items, you know, you gotta battle a new gym leader every 5 levels or something stupid. And, you know, by this time in Pokemon, a lot of my friends had actually stopped playing, so this was the game that I pretty much played by myself. And it wasn't until like the very end that we started doing those little Nuzlocke things. But another side note here is this is the game that I actually launched my channel with. Before this, you couldn't save battle videos very easily. I think they released at the end of Gen 4 and like the Heart Gold Soul Silver remakes. I think they announced they like added the ability to save replays, and you could only save one at a time. And it was a lot easier to save replays in Black and White 2. And so this was the game that actually launched my channel. I would save a replay, I would, you know, upload it, and I would talk about it. And if you guys go back, there's like videos from like 2010, 2011 of me playing Black and White 2 on this channel. So this game does mean a lot to me. I really do like it, and hopefully it's one of your favorites. At least, at the very least, if you guys have not heard, like, I think it's the Driftvale, like, city theme. Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna have to go back and listen to that. So, but I really hate that I have to make this game so low on my list. It should be 2, but you guys should probably know what number 2 is. Moving on to number 2 of my list, we have Generation 4. This is Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Any of you guys that actually know anything about my playstyle or are big fans of my content know that I am definitely a Gen 4 fanboy. I like hitting hard, I like hitting fast, I have that sweepers mentality, and everything that there is to know about my gimmicky, you know, weird playstyle or any type of, you know, anything really. Like, all of my tech that you guys see on this channel was developed in Generation 4. So I'm going to tell a little bit of a story here. So in the time of Gen 4, I was in college and I was living with 2 roommates, right? And so pretty much every day for most of Gen 4, at least for the Pokemon Pearl and Diamond aspect before Platinum came out, we would go to like a coffee shop, or we'd go to like Taco Bell, or we would just go somewhere where we could kind of loiter, and we would take turns, you know, battling each other in Smogon 6v6 games. You know, the winner would stay, and then the loser would take a break, go back to their box, and try and figure out some way to tweak their team to beat the, you know, the winner of the next game. And like, we super metagame each other. We're like, all right, well, one guy likes running this, so I'm gonna use this when I fight him, and we would literally like destroy each other for like hours. And then once we were done at that place, we would come home, and we would actually hit the battle spot or go on to like Smogon, and we would just like battle from there. And it was so much fun, and like, oh man, it was so good. So I'm gonna talk even more about this story. So I was the super gimmicky player. Like, I had every trick in the book. I like sweeping people, I like setting up. Like, it was to the point where like I would just put Focus Punch on my Weavile in Gen 4 in singles, and have like no way to protect the Weavile, just so I could use Focus Punch when I know my opponent would switch. Like, it was stuff like that. In Gen 4, I used Choice Band Extreme Speed Physical Togekiss with Hustle, because I knew that if my opponent switched like a Blissey or a Cresselia to block my special attack, they'd get like one-shotted by this super crazy Physical Togekiss. It's all the crazy gimmicky strats that you guys have seen me use on this channel, all started here. So I was the crazy gimmicky player. My buddy Dustin was the completely standard player. He played like Skarm, Bliss, Crest, Salamence, super standard. So like he's like my foundation that I learned how to like pick him apart, and all of my tips and tricks that you guys see here are stuff that he literally got bodied by for like years. And then the other guy was Patrick, and he's like the mix of both of us. He's seen my gimmicks, and he took the ones that didn't actually suck, incorporated them into his gameplay, and vice versa. I use a ton of his gimmicks in this channel as well. He really liked using psychic types, and, you know, any type of stuff you guys see where I use like Metagross, or, you know, any type of like, he would be the type of guy in VGC 2018 to use Ally Switch on like something that's so standard. Like, he's also a really big fan of Cresselia, so Patrick definitely influenced my playstyle, but he was like a mix of me and Dustin. So between the three of us, you know, we really just grinded hours and hours each week into this game, and this is where like my passion for Pokemon was just like, this is where I knew this was something that I was going to be good at, and I really like Gen 4 for that. So hopefully you guys also like Gen 4. I don't really know that much about them. I don't remember that much about the music or the storylines. I just remember that like this generation I was like 100% battles all the time, using Smogon, all that stuff. So that's pretty much all I got to say for Gen 4. Hopefully it's one of your favorites too. Alright, so we're finally to number 1 at my list. We are going to be talking about Generation 3, Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. These are just by far and away my favorite generations. I love the aesthetics of these games. I love the storyline. I love the characters. My favorite gym leader of all the games in the series and all the games is going to be Wallace, and he is one of the like main characters of this game. He goes from being like the 8th gym leader, like the coolest of all the gym leaders, and then actually becoming the champion in Emerald. Not to mention, this game has Pokemon contests, which are just the best minigame. Like, if there was a competitive scene for contests, instead of like VGC and, you know, like Smogon singles, everyone just went to like regionals to do Pokemon contests, I would be so down. That would be like the coolest thing ever. Pokemon contests are like one of my favorite things to do, and this generation, I just sunk so much time to it. I was going through a really rough time in my life when this game came out, and this game was a great escape from all that real life like drama and problems that I was going through. And I've pretty much played every single amount of, well, let me think. I've pretty much done everything that you could possibly do in these games. I've made so many files. It was to the point where like every 3 or 4 days, I would start a file, I would beat it, I would get a completely brand new team, do something completely different. Like, I would try games where I wouldn't evolve anything, or I would try games where I would only use second stage evolutions, or I would try games where I used all one type, or I would try games where I would do this or that. And I've used literally every single Pokemon. I think the map in this game is amazing. They allocate where you can catch certain things at perfectly. This is just the best Pokemon game to play. It has everything. It even had secret bases, which are so cool. I know that they remade them in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and I was really hyped for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but when I played Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, some of the magic was gone, because, you know, this game was like the last Pokemon game of my childhood, and that's probably why I remember it so fondly. And I know they changed a lot of stuff in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and the whole time I was playing it, I was just like, I could just play the originals. Like, I have a Game Boy Micro, like, attached to my keys, and it has Emerald in it. I can just play that. And, you know, speaking of the Game Boy Micro, I actually still use, in singles battles, some Pokemon that I got from Emerald. The Special Sweeper Blissey that you guys see me use in some of my videos, with like Flamethrower and Ice Beam and Serene Grace, that Pokemon is legit from a copy of Emerald. And, you know, that's so cool that I've used a Pokemon that is like that old and it got its start in this gen. And I think that Pokemon is a really big part of my playstyle. If you guys seen most of my videos from like 2010 to like 2014 uses that Special Super Blissey in like almost all of them. I guess we can also talk about the remakes of Fire Red and Leaf Green, because that's technically still Gen 3, but I mostly just wanted to talk about how awesome like Emerald and Ruby and Sapphire were. So that is my list. We got Generation 1, Generation 2, Generation 1, 2, 5, 4, and 3. I'm still a little bit salty that I'm putting Generation 5 at 3, because Generation 5 is sleeper OP. You guys should definitely play it if you haven't yet. As always, let me know what you guys think about this video in the comments below. You know, leave a comment with your list and see how it compares with mine. But that's all I wanted to say on this topic. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.